Tonight on Prime Business, Ghana's economy expanded by 5.4% last year, higher than 0.4% recorded in 2020, indicating that the economy has rebounded. We'll hear from the Ghana Statistical Service.
From a subsector point of view, we see that the services sector continues to lead with 48.9% out of the total, corresponding to 210,882.2 million Ghana cedis.
Also, we will hear from economist Dr. Edu Owusu-Sarkodie, who is asking government to add value to primary commodities in order to sustain this growth.
Going forward, we must try and add value to our commodities so that we can sustain the growth. The most important thing is to sustain the growth. If we are able to sustain our growth between, say, 7 and 10% for the next 5 to 10 years, Ghana will be better.
Plus, a special feature on the tricycle or pragya business. We explore why some youth in the Ashanti region are unwilling to quit despite the risk.
This is not illegal, as they've been saying, but it has come to help a lot. It is helping the government, it is helping we the drivers, it is helping those buying, you understand? So it is helping a whole lot, it is helping the customers.
I am Beverly Broohm. Kindly stay for details. Let's settle for the details now. Ghana's economy expanded by 5.4% last year, far higher than 0.4% recorded in the year 2020, a period that COVID-19 pandemic had severely hit the global economy. According to provisional estimates by the Ghana Statistical Service, only 10 countries in Africa recorded growth rates higher than that of Ghana. The strong growth rate was driven by the services sector, particularly information, communication and technology, and the agriculture sector, such as fishing. Professor Samuel Kobna-Enim is the government statistician.
We look at the last quarter of 2021 from a subsector perspective, starting with the agricultural sector, keeping in mind that for the last quarter of 2021, the agricultural sector recorded the highest growth rate of 8.2%. Within the agricultural sector, the lead subsector was the fishing subsector, which grew at 21.2% in the last quarter of 2021, and the sector that recorded the least growth over the same period was the forestry and logging subsector, which recorded a growth rate of 3.4%. In the industry subsector, we saw that the water and sewage subsector recorded the highest growth rate of 21.7%, keeping in mind that the industry sector grew the least across the three subsectors with a growth rate of 4.8%, and the mining and quarrying subsector recorded the least growth of 0.5%. Oil and gas over the same period, that is the last quarter of 2021, grew by 0.2%. Within the services subsector, that had the second highest growth rate for the last quarter of 2021, grew by 8.1%, with information and communication being the lead subsector, which grew by 52.3% on a year-on-year basis. And indeed, we did record a contraction for the health and social work subsector as it contracted by 13.1%. We now turn over to the annual estimate, that is GDP for the whole period, that is January to December 2021, keeping in mind that 2013 is the base year. The provisional current annual GDP estimate, including oil, for 2021 stood at 459,130.9 million, and this compares with 391,900 940.7 million, which was recorded for the year 2020. Provisional current excluding oil for the same period, that is annual 2021, stood at 437,975.2 million relative to the 378,147.9 million that was recorded for the same time in 2020. From a subsector point of view, we see that the services sector continues to lead with 48.9% out of the total, corresponding to 210,882.2 million Ghana cedis, followed by the industry sector, which recorded 30% of the overall GDP for the year 2021, corresponding to 129,771.1 million Ghana cedis. And again, on an annual basis, we see the agriculture recording the least with 21%, corresponding to 90,489.1 million Ghana cedis.
Reacting to this development, economist Dr. Edu Owusu-Sarkodie is challenging government to add value to the country's primary commodities in order to sustain the growth recorded in 2021.
We've seen increment in gold prices. Cocoa prices is also quite sustainable. We have seen increment in crude oil price. The government budgeted $62 per barrel, and now we are doing about $100 per barrel. So the increment in commodity prices have been the driving force for the public finance and also the GDP growth. And if there's any external shock to the commodity prices, our economy will badly be affected, and that is why there shouldn't be over-reliance on primary commodities. We should just add value and industrialize. So given the fact that the commodity prices have picked up, I think it's a good sign, and going forward we must try and add value to our commodities so that we can sustain the growth. The most important thing is to sustain the growth. If we are able to sustain our growth between, say, 7 and 10% for the next 5 to 10 years, Ghana will be better, far better than what we see now. So my concern usually has to do with the sustainability of the growth. We can grow 8 and then you decline to, say, 0.4 or 1 or 3, and that would not, give us the needed benefits. So the sustainability is the most important thing. How do we sustain that? We do not control the commodity prices. The cocoa prices are always given to us. Gold prices, Ghana does not determine the gold prices. So all these commodity prices that are driving the growth are not determined by Ghanaians. They are determined on the market, and you don't have control over them. And therefore, we should be able to position our economy in such a way that we have maximum control over so many things, or maximum control over the drivers of the GDP growth. And when you have control over the drivers, you can create the needed jobs for the people of Ghana.
Government will end the year missing out on its single-digit inflation rate target. This because the latest IMF Economic Outlook report is casting doubts about the government hitting its 8% inflation target. George Riafe has the rest of the story.
IMF in the report is projecting that government would end the year with an inflation rate of 16.3%. This is far higher than its own 8% that it was hoping to achieve by the end of this year. If this report is anything to go by, then it will be the second time in 2 years that government is missing out on its end-of-year inflation rate target. It is not clear for now what is influencing the IMF's projection for the economy. The forecast may back claims that the current price hikes for foodstuffs on the market will not be ending anytime soon, with some analysts projecting that the rate will only start coming down in the last quarter of this year. March inflation rate currently stands at 19.4%, so there's a likelihood that we will continue to witness some spikes in terms of the general price levels going up before reducing marginally in the last 3 months of this year. The projection could be in line with a similar report by the Economic Intelligence Unit, which is also noted that government will not meet its 8% inflation rate target for this year. But the question on the minds of some analysts is that will this raise some credibility issues for government when it comes to its end-of-year macroeconomic targets outlined in the budget? This is because in 2021, it ended that year without achieving its single-digit inflation rate target.
News just coming in indicates that the Bank of Ghana has appointed economist Professor Ebo Texan to the Monetary Policy Committee. In a release issued by the central bank, it indicated that Professor Texan replaces Dr. John Kwache, who retired as an external member of the MPC. Here is more in the release dated 20th April 2022. Now, the Bank of Ghana announces the appointment by its board of directors of Professor Festus Ebo Texan as an external member of the Bank of Ghana Monetary Policy Committee in pursuant to Section 273E of the Bank of Ghana 2002 Act 612 as amended by the Bank of Ghana, Amendment Act 2016, Act 918. Professor Texan is a development economist with specialization in macroeconomics and finance, monetary and financial economist, small and medium enterprises development, industrial policy, applied econometrics, and international trade policy and finance. He is an associate professor of economics at the University of Ghana with an economics research, teaching and consultancy career spanning over 20 years. So Ghana's moderate to high exposure to imports of wheat, edible oils and fertilizers from Russia has triggered increases in prices of foodstuffs and certain commodities on the market. According to the latest World Bank Africa Pulse report, Ghana imports about 33% of wheat and a little above 20% of fertilizers from Russia, ranking it among African economies with high dependence on European countries. Charles Nixon Yeboah has more.
The impact of the Russia-Ukraine conflict on commodity prices has compounded existing challenges in global food market, including increasing prices and tightening supplies due to the COVID-19 pandemic, among others. This has already pushed inflation rate high to 19.4% in March this year, with food inflation exceeding 24%. The World Bank said Ghana, together with Kenya, Mali, and Nigeria, have moderate to high exposure to wheat imports from Russia. Again, the country, together with other African countries, including Cote d'Ivoire, have moderate to high exposure of edible oils and fertilizers from Ukraine and Russia. It further explained that the impact of the rising global commodity prices on African countries' terms of trade is uncertain. It, however, added that Ghana and many oil importers in the region will benefit from the rally in global prices for industrial metals.
The rate of unemployment in the country has driven many young men in the Ashanti region to venture into tricycle or pragya riding business. While operating without licensing and failing to observe traffic regulations, these riders are major contributors to road traffic crashes. Despite the high risk, the commercial riders are unwilling to quit the business due to the economic relief it brings to them. There's more in this report filed by Mona Lisa Frimpong.
Waid Musa is an accounting graduate of the Kumasi Technical University. After failing to secure a job after school, he turned to tricycle pragya riding to earn a living. This has been his source of income for the past 3 years.
Though we know this is not illegal as they've been saying, but it has come to help a lot. It is helping the government, it is helping we the drivers, it is helping those buying, you understand? So it is helping a whole lot, it is helping the customers. When you go to the market women now are a bit relieved, because at first the way the prices the taxi drivers do charge was killing them.
With some riders earning 800 cedis weekly, many are not moved to search for white-collar jobs. The industry has also been supporting the local economy, says Al Asbat Sidi, Public Relations Officer of the Pragya Okada Riders Union.
A mechanic, motor mechanic, when you go to his shop, you won't see any motorbike. Now they are into this motor. So you see, now this motor has fed them job. You know, straighters, those who straight cars, now they don't straight cars anymore because they don't get any money into straighting cars. So if like I'm to take you to a straighter shop right now, you see one car, you will see a data about 10 or 5 parking there. So that one too, a straighter has gotten a job through the Adedita. When you go to the sprayers, those who spray car, you will see one car stand by. You will see him spraying about 5 Adedita in a day.
There are over 16,000 Pragya and Okada riders in the Ashanti region. About 200 are university graduates. According to leaders of the union, the business has reduced the rate of crime in some suburbs of Kumasi.
From 2016-2017, there are some thugs in Ababu called Arabagari. Every 3 days, you hear gunfire in Ababu. People are being shot, fighting everywhere. So, have they ever sit and ask themselves, where is these boys? Because they have nothing doing. That's why they engage in fighting. This base and this base, this base and this base. You pass through Ababu, you'll be hearing gunfire like you are like Liberia. But now, since the Adedita came into this system, most of them now they are driving Adedita.
Though the trade has brought economic relief to many young people, it is a major contributor to road accidents.
Typically, if you use the Aboboya, you know that the drivers are not protected, and then the passengers also are not protected. So they tend to have a lot of head injuries. So they have fractures involving the forehead, the mid face, and then the lower jaws. On the average, if you take like a month, we see about 10.
Many of the riders are minors who operate without license and fail to observe traffic regulations. Some learn the art of riding in a day. The security authorities find this indiscipline worrying.
Make sure that we discourage the public or motorists who don't have the requirements to use the motors from using it by way of arresting them and prosecuting them.
So aside a number of Pragya riders learning the art of riding tricycles in a day, many foreign nationals are alleged to have also entered the trade, and many are riding these tricycles underage, thereby contributing to the increasing rates of accidents on our roads. And some are also alleged to be criminals who have been robbing people of their possessions when they board their tricycles. Out of the 16,000 Pragya Okada riders in the Ashanti region, only 500 are associated with unions. This makes tracking and educating them on traffic rules and regulations difficult. Simbiat Redo is director of the Ashanti Regional Road Safety Authority.
If they are unionized or they are identified and given some form of training, and then also if they are regulated, I think it will go a long way to help the operations and then also help to reduce the crashes we are recording by the operations.
Several calls have been made to ban the use of Pragya and Okada motorcycles as commercial transport. But leaders of the union fear the consequence may be overbearing. Rather, they want a collaboration with law enforcement agencies to regulate the indiscipline of Adedita riders on our roads.
Police alone cannot solve the problem of Adedita in Ghana. They can't. I'm telling you. They need us, we need them. But you see, they have one problem. Let me say it on the camera. Whenever they are calling us for meeting, you see, that is my biggest problem. They are not calling us to deliberate on the issue. They just call us, giving us directives, threatening us. We will bend you within 2 weeks. We will do this to you. And that doesn't solve any problem.
Mona Lisa Frimpong reporting.
The Vice President of Costa Rica, FC Campbell Barr, has touted the tourism potential between Ghana and Costa Rica. Madam Campbell Barr, who is on a 5-day visit to Ghana, will tour sites in Cape Coast and Akwemu in the central and eastern regions to visit areas where slaves were transported to the Caribbean. The following report has more.
Tourism has been a major foreign earner for Ghana for decades. Recently, the Ghana Investment Promotion Center and the Ghana Tourism Authority launched the Year of Return project to bring back Africans in the diaspora to Ghana. Afterwards, the government continued with the Beyond the Return initiative to make Ghana a tourist destination. As part of the initiative, the Vice President of Costa Rica, FC Campbell Barr, has visited Ghana to reconnect with Black history through tourism. Speaking to journalists in Accra shortly after arriving, Campbell Barr said there is a strong tourism connection between Ghana and the Costa Rican history.
The continent, but also to think in the future what we can do together to build our countries and our people. And that's why I'm so excited to be here. My heart is, it is plenty of love, because I feel that I come back to my motherland as an African woman in the continent. We, with the government of Ghana, but also with the leaders here, women and men, we are trying to make a difference in our history.
That's all for Prime Business. We leave you with news making headways in the international front.